Wait.
It's lit. The red light's on.
It doesn't say recording. No.
Okay? Tell me when to go. It is off. No, it's coming on now. Again. Tigger is sitting here beside me. Come up here, Tigger. Come up here.
Who did you just get a phone call from, Bob?
I got a phone call from my sister and said that a Japanese man was there looking for me and that was coming over here and we are anxiously waiting. Now would you like to try it, B?
Okay.
Was he in
Yes,
Misawa?
Yeah, he was in 613 facing
Was he?
W, yes.
Yeah, I forget.
Oh, right, yes. He was a very short man. Just people used to call him Shorty.
Okay,
Oh.
tell me when you're ready.
I'm recording.
Oh, Mary,
Camcorder.
Mary, this is my friend Jimmy. Him and I met in Misawa Air Force Base in at least 45 years ago. And he still remembered me, and I remembered him. We're good friends. And I'm very happy that he could be here with us.
Very
You want to say a few words now, Jimmy?
I was determined, really. I was determined to make it. Yes, which I did. So great,
Yeah.
so good. I don't know when I have a chance for coming over next time, but whenever it may, I'll be back here again.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'll be happy.
Have you?
We're really happy you could make it and come and visit with us. 'Cause I liked you a lot when we was in Japan. I still do.
Yeah, I kind of had a hard time listening and hearing,
Oh,
Maybe I gave you a hard time to try to communicate each other,
yeah. Well, I don't hear too good either, but we had a long time ago.
Yeah.
So where did that picture? Where was the picture taken?
There?
In
Misawa, in the barracks, probably.
Yeah, barracks, yes.
Yeah, in the barracks. I don't remember the number of the barracks, but I remember. That's great.
So you used the picture, and then when you got to Byron, what did you do to find?
Just bought me,
Jimmy has hard on hearing, but he went to the town hall and asked them, and they called my niece, and then she called my sister. My sister called me. And boy, that was amazing.
Yes.
It was great, very good.
In the past I tried, something like that. And, in this, quite a few people do not have their telephone listed. That makes the whole thing very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
In your case, wasn't like that. So I didn't. I left my glasses in the car, so at that time I couldn't really see it myself. But someone tried to help me. I looked it up. Said here is Yetta, but not Robert. Richard. Is
Oh,
he?
Richard.
Yeah, is he?
That was my cousin.
Oh, cousin? Oh,
He
yeah.
was in the army in let's see, he was in Alaska and he was in India and all over. But
Yeah, that's
he lived in Byron,
oh,
but he died.
oh, did he?
And so he was,
But name and number was listed there.
yeah,
His wife
it was
still
his
live
wife.
there.
Oh,
His
I
wife.
See.
She's
Oh,
very old.
I see. So
Yeah.
you didn't live there?
No,
No.
I come back from the army and or I was in the army before,
Oh, yes, I know
in,
that.
different, in
Yes.
New Guinea. And
Yeah, New Guinea, I know that,
And-
yes.
Then I joined the Air Force,
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know
and then I went back to Byron, and then I moved away from there.
that. I see.
Married my wife. We moved here.
I see.
I've been here for 30,
Oh, is that so?
about years.
I see.
Yeah.
So you were born, raised here?
Yeah.
Oh.
John
Yeah.
and Mary was born here.
Oh, yeah, that's.
And I have another daughter, Judy.
Oh,
Yeah, they was all born here. Mary, I don't know how old are you?
I'm 35.
oh,
John is 29.
yeah.
Tanya,
20.
young little girl.
Those two granddaughters over there. One is 8 going on 9, and the other one is 7. That's Bethany, and the other one's Jamie.
There. You don't have,
There's
there's our Judy's husband.
Oh,
You don't have Kevin though. This, my whole family.
oh,
This is Judy.
she's not here.
No. That's Mary. And big.
It's you.
And me. I look little. Besides him. When I get old, like straight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I want to give. Jimmy,
Yes.
here is Judy's husband.
Uh-huh.
He is a musician.
Oh, is it?
You take that with you.
Okay.
Is there a tape in it?
Oh, there's
See if
a
there's-
tape.
No, there's not a tape in there. See if
have
you
to
can find
the
tape.
Oh, give me the tape.
You get the tape from him.
It may be still in the car, that
I'll
red
look.
car.
It probably is. I think you're right. I'll get it.
I wish we had a brand new one to give to him, but
You know what? Do we have any of those wallet pictures of you and Daddy
Japan
that
changed
you
a
can
lot
give him
since I was
to
there.
take?
Yeah, better,
I
better.
forgot about it, and I could have.
Changed for
But
good.
I don't have any with me.
Up and down.
Yeah. The industry's good. Made cars, very good.
About the time you were there, anything made in Japan was a symbol of bad thing,
Yeah.
After a few years, 10 years, so.
See, that's what I was thinking about you who could speak American, and I thought, well, you probably do pretty good.
Tried, yeah.
That's good. But you rent a car when you come to California, huh? Rent.
Yeah,
rent
rented,
the car.
yes, it's you can see it's California.
Yeah.
It's a very nice car.
Yeah.
It is that is built with pride in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, yeah,
by
yeah.
Ford, yes.
Yeah, they do good there.
Yes, very good.
Did you travel all over the United States?
He's retired now, but he does. He has been traveling all over the United States. And he's-
Eastward in Chicago, New York, yes. This way, Midwest, and East, yes.
Kentucky.
But not westward. So this time, I'm retiree already. I retired before too late, And down Mexican border, go up to Chicago, then to Michigan, Upper Michigan, then home
I'll
now,
go for
west, where I started.
in here.
Oh, here's one.
Okay.
Here's a different one.
And
Old one, though.
I don't know how
What's the same one as that?
you get a kick out of this, but here, small
Still,
is
it's still
old,
wrapped,
and
It's wrapped, it's
It's
still
still-
wrapped.
in the course of my preparation, such as digging a picture, I dig this up. And, this was taken back in 1966, December 5th. I can prove the date with other documents. This is picture taken of me alongside some lady That might give you a hint. Doesn't she resemble anybody that you
Oh.
know?
Is that, it's Johnson?
Can I see?
Mm-hmm.
That lady was thinner than that.
Thatcher?
Thatcher?
Who?
Thatcher. Margaret.
He, boy,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know yet. It just could be an accidental
Yeah.
resemblance. You know, I digged up, and I didn't. It was only short time
Oh,
before I left for this trip, so I didn't have any time to make any investigation. But when I get back, I check, and she became. She was in office, of course.
Yeah,
But
in
this period, 66 December, she was not yet. So maybe she was making inspections in the trip.
Hmm.
This is, and that, you know, why I can prove it. You know, in those days, airlines issue you certificate when you cross the international day flying.
Mm-hmm.
And I flew this time from. I mean, I had no business whatsoever in Manila. This is taken Manila, Philippines. I didn't. I had nothing to do there, but I had to go by that way because of my friend who was traveling with me. He only had his passport for single use. So when he returned Japan, no good, say.
Yeah.
So he had to come this way instead of coming to Japan this way. Well, I was on the way to Hong Kong and Bangkok. See. So if we did come, I mean, we just couldn't make it, so we had to detour.
Mm-hmm.
Then this lady was sitting beside me, you know, we are friends. But I didn't they ask her, you know,
Yeah.
it's so rude. But I couldn't help asking. Because she was such a nice lady.
Yeah.
I had to have got to ask her to be, you know, taking picture of her. And she was happy to allow me to do it. So I had someone walking beside us, you know.
What kind of airplane was that?
This is Philippine Airlines.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
here's the
enough.
music.
Oh, thank you.
Play that.
You're a professional.
Yeah.
That's
See,
our
they
son-in-law.
wrote the music, my son-in-law and his brother. Yeah.
I make a duplication out of this and give it to my son, who is a musician too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he is at least trying to be.
That's good.
He'll be very happy. Meanwhile, I can enjoy it while I'm driving.
So have you seen other people that were from that barracks?
With the, from Masawa,
Yeah, this
do you see anybody in the United States here?
Oh, it wasn't Misawa, from Germany.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the man.
It's
You, maybe you can talk to John about the computer. One time John talked, wait, to different countries on the computer,
Oh,
On internet.
internet.
oh, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
From
then
the-
maybe he knows more than I do.
No, but he's done quite, show the computer back. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Come, John. No, yeah. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy's gonna go pretty soon, he said.
Yeah.
So, he's gonna write in this book he gave me.
It's running out.
You run out? Me?
Yeah, very.
Here in the well, no. Stuck button in the backyard and you
Alright.
can, and you still got your camera?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Hi, Randy.
Thank you again for
Yes.
this beautiful act.
You're quite welcome.
I'll take a photo.
Yeah, you're like me. You don't like to drive with bundled up.
You see you.
Yeah, is that the new one? I mean, the
No.
cassette is new?
Yes,
I mean, the cassette itself is new.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
cassette.
get me a copy of it.
Yeah, sure will.
About to run out of batteries.
Huh?
We're about to run out of batteries, so it's gonna.
Well, get around here. Take a picture of the California lake.
You came this way, so I go back this way.
I bet I missed part of that because I had pushed the wrong button.
Oh, boy.
Well, I got part of it, but I did miss the wave goodbye.
Oh, well.
I want you to talk about when you first met Jimmy Oyama.
Yeah,
Jimmy Oyama. I'm getting that
Well, I
name.
forget, Mary. There was quite a few Japanese people worked in barracks at different times, different ones, different times. The one before, there was one old man, they call him Papa-san. Didn't have hardly any teeth. He'd go out and dig up the cigarette butts out of the can. But then Jimmy come along and the old Papa-san, all he could say, thank you. I forget how he said it. But anyway, he'd always buy, you know. And then Jimmy came there and he could speak English. And I enjoyed talking to him. And he was intelligent. I could tell it.
What kind of things did you talk about?
Mary, that was 50 years ago. I kind of forget. Talked about the war, you know, about the war, and I possibly talked about him and his family, and didn't time so too much about mine. But we was talking about lifestyles in the United States, and the way they were different than Japan, and he told me different things about Japan that I didn't know. Probably never would have known if he wouldn't have told me. I forget just what they were, but he was a hard worker. Just to think that he used to shine my shoes or do things like that, you know, or do menial tasks. And now he's done very well. And I'm happy for him. But all my time in Japan wasn't too bad, but it wasn't too good either. And I don't know how long, when I first met Jimmy, but a lot of the time I was gone, and I was in charge of a supply train, which only consisted of 2 cars hooked to to a large train with me and a GI cook, and we had Japanese carboy, they called it. Took care of our clothes and making the bed and getting beer for us, calling in the head ahead, and had a Japanese KP help clean up, and we would always stop in front of the RTO, that's the train station, because we was hauling supplies for radar, and radar was supposed to be very secret. You wasn't supposed to mention that word on the telephone. And we went up to it from Masawa to a town named Amori. Got on a ferry that they run the train on there, 500 or 600 people. Then we went to Hokkaido, the biggest part of Japan, and where the weather is like here, has deep snow and everything. Went to way up northern there to Wakkanai, it's called, and that was a lot different than Honshu, because they had farms just like you do here, and it was nice. You shut it off a minute, I gotta wait.
I wanted to know, when you were in Japan, was there a bunch of ruins everywhere from the war, or was it pretty there, or what was it like?
Well, when I first seen Japan, I seen Yokohama and Tokyo, and it was just like a big tornado hit. They had the B-29s that bombed it with fire bombs, and there was so much fire that it created a big wind, and a lot of those houses were made wasn't made like they are now. It was made out of wood, a lot of wood, and it surprised me that it was so destructive. It was really bad. Then I went up through the country on a train, and went up there to Misawa, the station there.
What was it like there?
Well, it was, the town there was named Furamaki. It was just a little town, nothing modern at all, and the air base was big. A lot of jet airplanes there, and then I worked in the supply room. Is there anything else you want to know?
Yeah, were you there before or after they dropped that, was it an atom bomb?
No, I was in after. During the, when they dropped that, I was in the Army, in Tacloban, Leyte.
What did you think when you found out about that?
I thought it was propaganda. I thought they'd lied to us.
You didn't believe they would do that?
No, not for a while. Well, not that I didn't believe they'd do it. I didn't know they had anything that powerful.
What did you hear when you first heard it? What did they say?
I don't remember. It was on the radio, and
They told how destructive it was.
they told us about it, but I didn't see it, like in a movie or anything. We had some movies outside. See, this was after I got out of the hospital, and I was working on the docks as like you could call a foreman, but it was over a bunch of Japanese people who was working.
And where was that? In Leyte?
In Tacloban, Leyte, in the Philippines. And I would like to see how it is over there now. And Jimmy said that Furamaki is no longer a town, that it's just all Misawa. And I know it's going to be a lot different.
So when did you finally believe that they really did that, drop that bomb, and that it was really that destructive?
When the war ended, when they told me when they said the war was over. I believed it. It was quite a thing. The Filipinos, well, they went wild. And I went downtown.
What were they doing when they went wild?
Well, when I left the town, pretty quick after one Filipino shot another one, because he was supposedly a collaborator with the Japanese, and they was getting their revenge. I wasn't too sure about them, the Filipinos.
Well, you said when you went downtown, and then I cut in.
Downtown was Tacloban. It's like going down Stumble Valley or something, only maybe smaller. And I just wanted to go down and see what was going on.
And what was it? What was going on? What did you see?
Just a lot of noise and some of the talk I didn't understand because it was in Tagalog. That's a Philippine, one of their languages. Another one is Visayan, and they did speak some Spanish, but not much. And well, it was a happy time that the war was over, because I thought I'd go home, and I did go home, and let's see, not until I got home in January. Do I know anything else?
I want to know if either when you first got over there or when you got back home, if you went through any culture shock. Did anything like?
Yeah, I did. And when I went to Japan, I walked in the latrine. This is about Army's toilet, and the stools in there was very small. I thought I was in a miniature place. It was built for Japanese people, and they're smaller people than we are. And a lot of things was quite a lot different. The people there that I wasn't in too many people's houses there, but they slept on the floor, and they sat on the floor. There was not chairs or beds, but that was just part of their way of living. It was not because they couldn't have beds or chairs, it's just because that was the way they was comfortable.
But on the Army base, you just lived like Americans.
Yeah. We had barracks made out of pressed rice straw. They looked just about like the other ones, but if they would be on fire, they'd burn up in 3 minutes. So we had to have what they call fire watch. At night there'd be, see, if you was the CQ, charge of quarters, and you had to see that we went through the barracks every so often. We went through every one of them to see that there was no fire, nobody left cigarettes on. I only had to do that about once a month or something. The gymnasium caught a fire over there that was bigger than any gymnasium in the school district. Burned in 15 minutes. We had another base there named Chitosi. Wasn't too far away. Burned up about 3 barracks and killed a few guys and burned up a lot of equipment.
So, just a minute. I want you to tell me about Tacloban and Lady in the Philippines.
It was pretty dirty. Smelled very bad. There was no plumbing. The sewage run down the ditch to the side, and they didn't eat too much meat. It was mostly fish and things. But you'd see a hog hung up out there, very hot, flies all over, and it was bad. I went into one. We had certain areas we wasn't supposed to be in. It was off limits. Me and another guy went to a restaurant and was going to eat, and the MP, the head MP, come in there and says, "You guys are off limits." He says, "I'll show you the kitchen, and if you still want to eat here, go ahead." He says, "These people have got tuberculosis and all kinds of diseases." He took us back in the kitchen, and it was quite dirty. The guy that was working back there looked like he was sick, very thin. And so we decided not to eat there. But they didn't punish us, although we was off limits.
Did you know you were off limits?
Yes.
When
I went off limits quite a few times.
Because you thought it was
Here and
exciting?
there. What?
Because you thought it was exciting to go off limits, or what?
Soldiers don't have to obey so many rules that you like to kind of break the rules when you get a chance to. So there wasn't too much to do in that place.
Well, when you were in Japan, was there anything? Did you see anything about Japan? The part of Japan like beautiful or beauty,
Yeah,
or
I seen Mount Fuji and
what was that
things.
like?
Well, it was just like a picture.
Well, tell me about it. I don't even.
I just seen it, Mary, from the train and things like that. I wasn't that close. I hardly went off the base. I was a little bit disappointed in life at that time. So I went and spent quite a bit of time in the beer hall. And there wasn't a lot to do. I didn't hardly write home until Grandma Marion wrote a letter to my base commander, and I was forced to.
How'd they force you to write
They
home?
told me, "You write home. That's an order." And
So how often did you write home then after that?
not too often. There wasn't too much to write about. For people that don't know what's going on, and this was peacetime. There was nothing. If I had it to do over again, I would have went. There's a lot of different things to see there. That I did see a lot.
What would you have done? Would you have been able to do anything you want?
Yeah.
What would you have done
No,
now? Now what would you do?
I could have had leave time and went to different areas. It would have been quite interesting. And I could have found out where they were. I just didn't. And stayed right around the barracks. Only when I was on this supply train, then I was all over. But you didn't
Stop to sightsee.
You didn't stop in the towns very much.
How did Japanese people seem to feel about Americans when?
They seemed to me a lot different than I thought they was. They was nice, polite, easy to get along with. I don't know really how they felt about us, but they sure didn't act like they surely couldn't have felt too good about us. We bombed their cities and did all that thing, but they was nice. But I just felt that I didn't hate them or anything. I just felt that they was put in the army to fight just like I was. And so you just had to shoot at each other. They didn't know me, I didn't know them. And all you're thinking about is how you're going to get out of here alive. And I did. When I was in Luzon, I got hit with a mortar shell. And then I was in the hospital there by Clark Field.
How did it happen?
Well, I went down to get water. We was up on a hill. And there was, the Japanese was only about as far as here to over by cliffs from us.
The next door neighbor's house over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
and they were shooting at us, and we were shooting at them, and I had to go down and get water. It was a real narrow spot and a big, deep drop off there. You only had a small spot, and I went down and got 8 canteens of water on a stick, carrying it back, and they started shooting machine guns and clipping them off right ahead of me, and I dropped the water and run to the top of the hill. And when I got up there, there was guys sitting there. There had been a big 81 millimeter mortar shell with white phosphorus in it. And there's one guy running with his hair on fire, and another guy sitting there and he's smoking. He's back. He's on. The only way you could stop that was to put mud on, something to shut the air off. So he took all that water and made mud and put on them guys.
Who put mud on them?
We did.
Everyone that was around there just
Yeah, as quick
started.
as you could get that out. This was burning right down into them. And the guy that was in the foxhole with me, while I was out to water, he was digging the hole.
Deeper.
Digging it the way he did. Well, so I gave him the choice of what side. So it settled down just a little bit, and he said he wanted that side towards the hill. I said, okay. First thing I knew, that mortar shell lit in there with us, and that knocked me unconscious. I woke up, I was in the hospital. I found out that it killed him. Put a big hole through his chest.
What was his name?
I think it was Chamberlain, was his last name. I didn't know him well, because this was a time when they needed a lot of, they was taking most of the troops over to Europe, and as soon as they took guys that wasn't in the infantry, they was artillery. They wasn't trained to our way, and this guy was, everybody was afraid, but he was more afraid than I was. He didn't want to go after that water, I'll tell you that.
But he was not trained the same way you were. You said
No.
that he.
No, he wasn't.
Now, what location was this that happened? This
was at a place, it was in the Zambales Mountains. It was just outside of Clark Field. In the place that they put on my papers, there was no town, but they called it Bam Bam. I still don't know that's what the location was. So I went in the hospital and I got out, pulled my clothes out from under the bed, and it was all full of blood.
because of your injury?
Because of the other guy, and
Oh.
me too. So I had the Filipinos washed them. When I had to find my own way back to where my outfit was. And as soon as I went back, I walked down the hill, and they was carrying a guy out of there who got shot in the neck. That didn't make me feel too good.
Now, at that hospital, it wasn't run by the Army?
It was run by the Army, yes.
But they just, after you were released, you just had to find your own...
That's right. I could have, if I wanted to, I could have just not went back. But where I went,
But could you run into some Japanese on your way to... Back, all by yourself?
no, I didn't want to go back. I wanted to go back to where our guys was.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I just thought maybe you could...
No.
Like, it wasn't like they... Okay.
I
So
was-
you were like when you guys fought these people, you were very, very close to where they
Yeah,
were.
Well, at that time it was. One other time it was we was out on patrol. Come up over a hill, and there I seen 2 of them right down the foxhole. So scared me half to death. And they put smoke grenades over there so they couldn't see us, Our guys did that, and we retreated fast. We went. We just had to get out of there.
When,
And
go ahead.
so we come back, and then we moved to a different area by what they called the Epo Dam. It was a big dam that furnished water for, I think, Manila, and that was the first place where they had used these big spotlights they put out in front so we could see them. And there I got malaria.
What do you think
I
caused the malaria?
got it. Just a minute. I got hepatitis,
Or hepatitis?
and I just couldn't eat. Didn't eat for a week. Drank water, and so I wanted to. The rule was that you had to have a temperature of 102 before they sent you out. But I talked to the company commander and said, I'm really sick. It's not part of the aid station. And he said, go back there. And that doctor there says, give me your rifle. He says, you won't be going back. So they put me on an airplane. First we went to a place that had been a monastery. And it was a hospital.
And where was that? Oh,
That was not far away there, but it was, and then they, I was there a few days, and then they took some of us and took us down to an airstrip and put us on a plane. And I was on a stretcher, but I looked out there and seen that wing just doing like that, and it scared me. I didn't I didn't know that they had to, that airplane had to give or it would break. And but there's nothing I could do about it. So they flew me back to Leyte to a general hospital. I was in there, I got malaria.
In the hospital you got malaria?
Yeah. See, the reason I got malaria is because we didn't have any in New Guinea. We run out of Badabrin. That's what kept you from getting it. And I was pretty sick with that. And then I don't know. I think it's about time I quit talking about that.
Okay.
Now, what else you want to know?
When you left the United States, what were the thoughts going through your mind?
You want to know? I don't know. I just real happy time.
When you left the United States.
Oh, when I left. Oh, I thought you meant when I come back. Well, I don't know. I wasn't afraid or anything. I just we got on a big troop ship. It was just what they call a Liberty ship, and stayed on there overnight. And that's the only time I got anywhere near seasick. I started getting dizzy. So after that, we went to New Guinea, and I never got seasick at all. And went to Hollandia, New Guinea, which was one of the rottenest places in the world. And that was pretty wild too. And when we left there, we got in what was an LST. That's landing ship tank. We was going to Luzon. We didn't know where we was going. But about midway, it turned out to be, we were sitting on top playing cards and heard a big noise and looked out, and there was another LST that got hit right halfway back and blew that up. And they'd always told us that they wouldn't stop for nothing. And I knew some of the guys that was on there, but they did stop. They took half of this thing floated, and they got the guys off of there that was living and on there, and then they sunk the ship.
Did anyone live that you knew?
Yeah. Some died too. I don't remember their names, but then we went to Luzon, and that's where it hit the fan.
Go ahead.
That's where we went across Clark Field. And that had been all time I got there, I was taking over. Went up into the mountains. And I remember one time we didn't have anything to eat. This didn't happen very often. We had sea rations, but it wasn't very good. But we had went where there was a artillery outfit, and I remember they gave us, they had, I don't know how they got it, we never had anything like that. They had a sheet cake, and they had pineapple juice. And we eat that, and I drank the pineapple juice. Every time I drink pineapple juice, I think of that. And that's the night, that night is when I got hit. And of course, there's a lot of things happened in between, but
Now you can tell me about when you went home. First of all, where were you when you found out you were going home, and how was it that you went home, and then
well, I got out of
how'd you feel?
I got out of the hospital, and I was
From what? The malaria?
from malaria and hepatitis, dengue fever, and I don't know what all. And, then we stayed there quite a while, before you had to go home when you got points for how long you was there and everything. And it was slow sending guys back home because they didn't have the transportation out to get everybody back at once. So when I come back home, it just kind of I don't remember too well about that. We got to where you could look out, you'd hear on the radio, hear commercials or like advertising. You never heard that for a long time. And then you'd see signs on the buildings and things, and it felt good.
Did America seem different to you after you've been away from?
Yes.
How did it seem different?
Well, I was just used to being around all men, all soldiers, and everybody was for everybody else. And if somebody needed something, you had it, you let them have it. And just saying you come home with this thing was different. Not that it was good, but you just didn't expect to say, "Hey, give me a cigarette," and the guy give you a package. And I think this is the end for tonight.
Okay. One more question. Who were the men that were your leaders that you worked under when you were over there?
Mary, the captain, his name was Captain Comfort. I don't know how you spelled it, but there was a big turnover there. You didn't keep very many friends because they either got killed or got in the hospital, or very few of them ever stayed. You didn't stay together very long in them circumstances. And as far as that, officers there, if you didn't know them, you couldn't tell by uniform or anything, because they pinned their bars on their ear. Because if the enemy sees who's the leaders, they try to kill them. But as far as the other officers, I don't remember.
Who was it that said he wasn't it Luzon that MacArthur said he would return?
Yeah, Luzon. He commanded Leyte. That's before I got to Luzon. And he said, I have returned. And MacArthur was a brave man. But the guys didn't think too much of it because it was kind of a set up deal that he come wading in after it was safe. But he really did go to dangerous places even when he was, But guys just don't like their leaders too well, They figured he had it made in the shade. And that another thing, he left the Philippines by orders from the president, But of course, we didn't think about that. And they had said that he'd left and took all of his furniture and everything, but it wasn't that. It was dangerous the way he left. Him and his wife and his son. And,
I studied, I wrote an article on that one time. And, they said that they did take one piece of furniture, the mattress,
yeah.
because his wife had been ill.
Well, I've read since then that he left left some gift that
A
he got
vase.
from Japan, a vase or something. And when he got back there, it was still there. They respected the authority.
Well, the thing of it is, that vase was a gift either to him or to his father
Yeah.
from Japan.
I think his
Emperor.
father.
And they said, aren't you going to take it? And he said, no. He says, take that little table over there, put it in the middle of the room, and put the vase on it. He says, maybe when they come in and they see that vase, they will respect this house.
And he
And
did.
he left it.
But after I got out and read about him and everything, he was a very good general. And he did what he was supposed to do. He wasn't supposed to be up there. He was back there planning the war, and he did a real good job of it. Okay, Mary, we'll talk some other night.
Okay, what do you want to watch on TV?
48 hours.
Okay, bye.